All right, students, welcome to the second video for lesson 5.5. If you haven't watched the first one, please go back and do that now. We went over what slope-intercept form was, which we should all know is y equals mx plus b, and we went over how to plug in different parts of our formula, or different numbers in different parts of our formula. Okay, so now we're on example 2, and we're doing exactly like we did in example 1. We're writing the equation of the line where it gives us a slope and a y-intercept, okay? So it says, what is m and b? That's what we're supposed to figure out first. So this is what we're answering first. What is m and b? Okay, so m is our slope, b is our y-intercept. So first it wants us to write down our y-intercept. Okay, so our y-intercept here, it tells us is 0, 3. And remember, it's going to give us that as an ordered pair. We're only worried about this number right here. Okay, we're only worried about our y-coordinate on our y-intercept. So our y-intercept here is 3. Okay, and I got that directly from right there. I know my y-intercept is 3 because I got that directly from right there. Okay. Now it wants me to include my m. Okay, it wants me to include my m. So my m, it tells me my slope. Remember, slope is another word for m. My m is -2. Okay, that came directly from right there. All right, my slope is -2. Okay, so now my next step is to write out my formula, y equals mx plus b. So I'm literally going to write out y equals mx plus b. May seem redundant, but it's good practice. I want you guys to memorize this formula, okay? Now I plug in my m and my b. So I'm going to plug in my m and plug in my b. So in red, I'm going to do y equals. Now comes my m. I have to plug in my m. I already know what my m is. I have it written down. So I have -2. Then I leave x plus. And my b that I'm going to be plugging in is my y-intercept, which is 3. Okay, so this is now the correct line. This is the equation of the line whose slope is -2 and has a y-intercept of 0, 3. Okay, this in slope-intercept form would be y equals -2x plus 3. Okay, so we just took what was given to us in this sentence right here and input it into our formula. Okay. So we'll go ahead and move on to examples 3 and 4. Examples 3 and 4 are what the rest of your homework looks like. Examples 3 and 4 say write the equations of the lines shown in the graph below. So there are a few things in these graphs that we need to take a look at. So we're writing the equation of the lines. So we're going to write y equals mx plus b. Okay. So we're always going to do y equals mx plus b. Okay, we're keeping it in slope-intercept form. And it even has it, so we will write out first our b and then our m, and then we can write our equation down here. Okay, so first I want to write my b. My b is my y-intercept. So I want to see where this line crosses the y-axis. Okay, remember, this is the y-axis, this is the x-axis. So I want to see where this line crosses this up and down axis. That's what my y-intercept is. Okay, so for this line, it looks like my line crosses the y-axis right there. Okay, that is my y-intercept. Okay, and it's at, if you look, it's at -1. So my b then is going to be -1. Okay. For my m, all we do is we find 2 points on this graph and we count between the 2 points. So this will be the first point I use, which is my y-intercept. It looks like there's another point right here where it crosses over the lines directly, right? So if I was counting up to that point, I go up 1, 2 spaces and to the right 1 space. So my m is 2/1. Okay. So that's how we figure out what our m is. And now we just sub into our equation. Okay, so I'm going to do y equals, my m comes first. So now my m comes, right, mx. So I have 2/1, 2/1, x plus, and my b is -1. Okay, so this is the equation of the line shown on the graph here. Okay. All right. So this next one is going to be a little bit different because if you look at this line, if I was to put my finger on this line and I traced it from left to right, just like that, I would see that my finger goes down. So right away, I know that I'm going to have a negative slope. So before I write down what my slope is, I'm going to put a negative sign right there because I know since my finger goes down when I trace this line from left to right, I know my m is going to be negative. Okay. For my b, I just look where my y-intercept is. It looks like my y-intercept is going to be right about there. Okay, so my y-intercept is right about at -2. So I'm going to write my b is -2. Okay, and now we need to find another point on the graph. I see that we crossed a point right there. So now I'm going to count down how many spaces and to the right how many spaces, and that's what my m will be. So I go down 1, 2 spaces, and to the right 1. So my m is -2 over 1. Okay, and that's because I went down when I was counting. That's why my slope's negative. Okay, so now I just plug back into y equals mx plus b. So I have y equals, my m is -2 over 1. Then I have x plus, and my b is -2. So this is the equation of that line. Okay. So thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for the homework help video for worksheet 5.5.